Hello everyone, welcome to another MISys tips and tricks video. In this week's video, we are going to talk a little bit about how MISys can help you with your document control, especially if you are part of a QMS quality management system such as ISO 9001. You might be just in a great panic state when the audit begins and the auditors start asking for this document or that document. MISys can actually be a good repository or an organizational tool for keeping all your documents together. And we will just run through some examples, focusing on some custom fields and other functionality of MISys. For example, one of the areas in ISO 9001 or other QMS audits is the audit of suppliers. It can be a CFA, Certificate of Analysis, or Certificate of Conformance that is required for a specific purchase order the auditor chooses. And you might have to dig into binders and folders to find that. Instead, for any given purchase order, you could very easily attach those documents to the purchase order when they come. So you issue your purchase order, you send it to your supplier, and when the supplier sends you the CFA, whether it's an email, PDF form, or in physical, in which case you could actually scan it and make it into a PDF form, you could go and attach it to the documents. Really, the documents are in the Notes tab of your purchase order, and no different than if you were to go edit, hit custom fields, and create any type of custom field. You could name it whatever you want, and field types are, as you can see, from single line text all the way to a file path, which what we were looking at in the background was a document, a file path, which allows you to point to a document in your server. What is important here to make sure is that the documents, once they are saved in a location and pointed in MISys to that location, that we don't change their location, because MISys does not actually track that change. If we move that document to a different folder or a directory, then MISys will not be able to locate that. So it makes sense to have maybe a MISys folder and have subfolders under it and organize it. And once that is organized, then start pointing documents that way. Other examples of using MISys for document control can be uh, supplier master files. You might, again, as part of your QMS, might need to show that you have approved specific suppliers through an audit system or whatever your selection criteria is. You can do the same with your suppliers. You can have the notes section and write your notes here, or go add custom fields and add any type of custom field. And one of the important things in QMS systems, as you know, it will ask for a decision, and you could have a true or false decision here that is allowing you to show your decision on the supplier, whether they were approved or not. And similarly, if you were doing manufacturing, say with manufacturing orders, you could record your quality results of your manufacturing orders on custom fields. So instead of using the standard notes field, which is just a multi-line text and a document attachment, you could go here and create the custom fields. Maybe you are recording pH value and you want this to be a decimal number. You can decide on the decimal format, uh, right? And you can enter a default value or leave it blank. Maybe your pH value default is 7. You could add, I don't know, Pantone color. Maybe you're measuring the color uh, code of your product, and it can be a selection from different values. So you limit the user to a specific list of colors that they need to pick from, and so on. So every time you are working on a manufacturing order, all those quality characteristics or QC results could be recorded directly into those manufacturing orders. Once I create those custom fields, I get a new tab that says custom field, which automatically populates with default values. We could leave them in blank as well, but let's say that I measured it and these are it. and I save it. Well, I picked a manufacturing order that was closed, but if it was an open manufacturing order, I would have been able to save this. And when my auditor asked me for results of my QC testing for a specific manufacturing order, I wouldn't have to dig through binders to find a printout of that QC record. I would simply just open the manufacturing order in MISys and go through that. And if there were additional things that we wanted to show in Excel files, we would add a document path similar to the one here and attach that Excel file or PDF file or whatever it might be. So use the custom fields that MISys offers you, and hopefully that will make you use MISys more effectively.